behind it with the drum attack. You a shit talker, we got guns for that. Tryna fist fight, boy, you dumb for that. Stupid. You gon' get a bullet in your lung for that. Stupid. Draco get the cooking like loose chain. F&N on me in the mood sign. Glock 19 in the blue flame. I was strapped when I stood inside your boo thing. 21 immortal, we'll never die. Loyal to my brothers, I never lie. Call me bird dog, cause I cheat and I'm fly. And I love winning, I'm upset if it's a tie. If you ever try to go against the game, we gon' drop it. Get you off the ground just to knock you to the floor. Yeah. Let's go blow for blow. Yeah. Let's go toe to toe. When it's time to battle, they don't never ever show. When it's time to battle, I'm the first one at the door. Yeah. Here we go. Get over here. It's gonna be next. Straight up. 21.
You know, over the last decade, I think there were maybe only 3 game reveals that got me more hype than the announcement for Mortal Kombat 11. Not that 21 Savage really does it for me. I think the Wiz track was better back in the MKX announcement trailer, but there's something about the way gameplay feels in the series that is completely unlike any other fighting game on the market. It's visceral and brutal, and those are obviously its trademark qualities, but it's visually stunning too. Easy to pick up, incredibly hard to master, and satisfying, if super frustrating, to learn when you finally decide to take the plunge and pick apart the nuances that make it such a complex game. I've grown up with this series now. It was always that ultra-violent, gritty, and over-the-top world that I didn't have access to as a child. But I heard stories about it. There was something that was off-limits, verboten. And when a friend would finally get their hands on a copy and we'd pile into their basement for an MK night, it was this rebellious, freeing experience to watch as iconic ninjas like Scorpion and Sub-Zero would battle to the death. And then MK9 came out, the first Mortal Kombat game that I ever owned myself, first year of college, and I fell in love. Watched EVO for the first time in 2011, watched as the best players in the world clashed on the main stage in Vegas, and I've followed the scene off and on ever since. Through Mortal Kombat X and into this new announcement trailer for Mortal Kombat 11. And I must say, I am hyped as hell for it. I played a bunch of MK9 and MKX, and in fact, one of my most popular videos ever, even after all this time, after 3 years, is still that MKX beginner's tutorial. A tutorial that I think had a lot of really good information in it, but it needed some polish when it came to the delivery. I'd like to think I've gotten a lot better as a commentator since then. If 3.5 years ago, certainly my art wasn't quite up to snuff, at least where it is now. But I main Smoke, and I main Kenshi the Blind Swordsman during MK9's run, switched to Aaron Black for MKX when I saw Sonic Fox absolutely dumpster people in tournaments, and needless to say, I'm not quite on that level. But for this video, I want to do a little bit of discussion and speculation about the future of the series and what it holds for us. And it's not all sunshine and flowers. When a trailer drops like this, people get excited and they forget what's happened in the past. And I want to touch on that first because I just want to get it out of the way. Don't want this video to be negative because my overall feelings towards the series are overwhelmingly positive, but I do have some reservations, honestly. A little bit of wariness when it comes to Mortal Kombat, as much as I love it. Now, I play on PC. I'm a PC gamer. And if we're being completely honest here, NetherRealm Studios does not have a very good track record when it comes to PC fighting games. Mortal Kombat X had a horrific launch, as in the game was actually unplayable for the first 24 hours or so after release. And their publisher Warner Bros. Completely dropped support for the game for a good portion of its life cycle. They straight up said, we are not going to release any more updates or any new content after High Voltage Studios butchered their port to the PC. And as much as that spoke to High Voltage and their own incompetence, it was just as much a problem that NRS and WB would allow such an important project to get screwed up that bad. It had horrible netcode for a very long time, meaning you'd lag and drop frames even when your connection with an opponent should have been solid, and there were just a number of issues and crashes that plagued it early on. Now, they ended up doubling back on that stance. They switched their port developer to QLock, which was a team responsible for a lot of really solid, really stable PC ports, and after like half a year, they delivered Kombat Pack 2 and more updates, and it was with the release of the Enhanced Edition and the patches that came alongside it that the game got really good on PC, but that can kinda shake your faith in a company, right? And in a series of games when they are willing to straight up drop support for your product. Despite selling millions of copies, it just kinda leaves a bitter taste in your mouth when a company says, screw it, screw you, I got mine, I'm outie boys. Like, that just sucks. And then Injustice 2 came out on PC 5 months after the console launch, which, hell, if that's what you need to do to ensure it's not going to be a buggy mess, go ahead and do it. But it makes it impossible for content creators on PC to cover the game, because they're going to be 5 months behind console in terms of the learning curve and making videos. And basically, I just feel like they haven't treated the PC platform with as much respect or care as they should have in the past. So for Mortal Kombat 11, I am really, sincerely hoping that NetherRealm Studios and whoever they're using as their port developer have really got their stuff together, because these games are really damn good. The actual gameplay, combos, fatalities, everything about it is pretty amazing. I think they're the best fighting games on the market right now, and the story is obviously silly, it's ham-fisted, it's completely over the top, but that's intentional. It's meant to be campy and ridiculous, but they're a ton of fun. The storyline is a ton of fun to follow, and it's fun to play those fights, and ultimately, that is why I play video games. I want this game, I want Mortal Kombat 11, and I want to cover it on my channel. And we've got a lot of juicy details to break down from the trailer and the press release as well, so let's get into it. I mean, the most obvious thing is that we have Dark Raiden at the forefront. Don't know if you guys remember it, but at the end of MKX, Raiden basically snaps and tells the new leaders of the NetherRealm, Liu Kang and Katana, we're coming for that booty if you even think about stepping foot in Earthrealm again. And he presents the decapitated head of the still living Elder God Shinnok as a final warning. And we have received explicit confirmation already that this is a direct sequel to Last Game and the events of Last Game, where we got to see Sub-Zero and Scorpion finally make peace after Hanzo realized that Quan Chi, and not the entirety of the Lin Kuei, were responsible for murdering his family. And so we might very well get to see Kuai Liang and Hanzo Asashi, Lin Kuei, and the Shirai Ryu team up and try to take down the Renegade Raiden as he goes mad with power, channeling that awesome looking evil red lightning as a fallen thunder god. But honestly, I'm hoping Raiden won't be the real bad guy in MK11. More of a morally reprehensible force for Gray, who's decided to kill people before they have a chance to kill him and his own people. And let's be honest, Earthrealm has been on the receiving end of some pretty nasty invasions and evil shenanigans over the years, so it's not really that surprising that its protector might one day snap and say, enough is enough, I'm tired of big-boobed outworlders and evil spirits murdering my Shaolin homies, time to take the war to your turf and see how you like it. He is wearing Shinnok's amulet though, that was at the end of MKX, and it means that it's pretty highly likely that he'll be a purely evil force that has been corrupted and kind of mutated with all that power that's imbued in him, and that he's kind of fallen into darkness. Now, a lot of people were kind of confused about the two Scorpions in the trailer. I've seen some people suggest that the first one that got his head blown off was actually Takeda, which doesn't really make sense, considering how far NRS have already gone to completely differentiate him from Scorpion. He's not going to take on the Scorpion role when he has his own signature weapon and his own signature playstyle. I don't think that makes much sense, but there's the fact that the first dude clearly has Scorpion's iconic Phantom Eyes, so it is Scorpion. I don't think it's Takeda or any other person taking on that role. But at the end of the trailer, the whole thing kind of gets wrapped up and makes, well, to the extent that it can, makes perfect sense. Time travel. If there are two things that characterize Mortal Kombat storylines, it's that dead people never stay dead, and time means absolutely nothing. Visions from the past, transporting to and from the future, it's all fair game in Mortal Kombat storyline. So, in a storyline so heavily focused on time traveling, basically anyone from the entire roster, whether they died in MK9 or MKX or haven't been in the series since Armageddon, they're all going to be completely available. Smoke, Jade, Striker, Cabal, any of them could be returning as playable characters and in their original human forms. And it seems like some of these characters will have multiple threads in the chronology of the story, and so we might get some crazy stuff like Armageddon Shao Kahn facing down Dark Raiden, while Future Kenshi and Deception Ermac all watch from the sidelines. So you could be seeing a bunch of different characters from a bunch of different games and a bunch of different timelines as well. And when all these threads are kind of combining and conjoining and weaving the fate of these characters, things are going to get very trippy and very sloppy, and it's going to be pretty entertaining to watch, if maybe a little bit confusing. I think the big question is, who is the lady at the end of the trailer with the shifting sands of time? There's no confirmation yet. Obviously, she's probably going to be a big part of the story, but she is not explicitly recognizable as any of the characters who have ever appeared in a NRS game before. But it is very likely she's either a representative of one of the Elder Gods or she's an Elder God herself. And that is probably what I'm leaning towards right now. I think she is an Elder Goddess. She's got the ethereal element down pat, and she seems to control time itself, which is an incredibly powerful ability. Kind of need to be a god to do that. We just don't know her name or origin story just yet. I imagine that will be forthcoming before the game goes live in April. In terms of new characters, we could be seeing Fujin, God of Wind, who made an appearance alongside Raiden in MKX. Raiko is long overdue, and the brothers Dagon and Taven haven't been seen since Armageddon. And there have been rumors that Shang Tsung might be returning as well, though obviously no confirmation yet. There's been a leak that he's actually playing a pretty big role in the story. It'll be a good thing to see him say, "Your soul is mine," once again. He's one of the most iconic characters in the entire setting. He needs to be in the game. I missed him in MKX. Now, from a gameplay perspective, one of the biggest changes coming in 11 is the all-new custom character variation system. It's something they seem to be hinting at very heavily in the trailer, giving both Raiden and Scorpion different weapons, from that lightning staff we saw, to a Guan Dao, Scorpion's signature kunai, and his dual-wielding katana. So on top of the variation system, which was already very revolutionary when it came out in 2015, we'll be seeing an even more in-depth customization system that affects both visuals and gameplay. Maybe similar to what we saw in Injustice 2. Very deep, allowing players to alter costumes, weapon sets, and traits that can affect the outcome of matches. And obviously, changing weapons would affect your moveset and how you approach certain matchups as well. Could add even more depth to an already incredibly deep fighting game. So for me, personally, I would like to see a system like that really allows you to tailor each character to your particular playstyle, but one that doesn't make the character generic. It still retains what makes them unique and what makes them special. You don't want to be giving everyone a mace or everyone a hammer. I feel like the weapon system could kind of backfire a bit that way if it kind of blurs the lines between what the characters are actually unique and what makes them interesting and cool. But for me personally, I would like to see Fujin and Raiko as new characters, and Shao Kahn will be playable as the pre-order bonus, which is awesome, although I'm not even thinking about pre-ordering this far from launch. I would not mind if Jade returned. I did miss her in the 10th game, and if she does not, we'll need some female ninjas to fill that void. So Serena and Li Mei could step up. I would like to see Serena, but I'm going to be pretty butthurt if Melina does not end up in the final product. She died in MKX when Devora unleashed this insect swarm at her face after a passionate kiss, but Melina is my favorite female in the entire roster, and I've played a lot with her, both MK9 and MKX. I love her moveset. I love her voice actress, role in the story, everything about her. I thought she was a much better done character in the 10th game than in the 9th. But everything about her is great. She's really cool. And if there's one character who's kind of up in the air that I really want to see return, it is Melina. So, 2019 might be a crazy year for the channel. There are at least 2 games outside the traditional Total War sphere that I want to cover. I'm definitely planning on creating content for Doom Eternal, and a lore video for that is still on the agenda, although I'm not sure exactly when we get around to that. But an updated beginner's tutorial for Mortal Kombat 11 is the bare minimum of the content I want to make for this game when it comes out, given how well received the first one was. And I'm definitely going to try and get to a point where my game knowledge and technical skill are a bit more even, because right now, I could explain a lot of the deeper mechanics of MK pretty well, but after 2 years away from the series, I am rusty as hell. And using an Xbox 360 controller does not really help the situation. The D-pad on an Xbox pad is objectively inferior, kind of trash when compared to a DualShock 4, which from what I understand is what a lot of NetherRealm pros use when they're playing in tournaments. So I might need to fix that situation and go maybe for a PlayStation 4 controller instead. Don't know yet if I'll pull the plug on that, but might be a good idea. And frankly, it is going to be really hard to play Total War, to play Mortal Kombat, and Doom all at a high level and create great content for all three series. There just aren't a lot of transferable skills between those besides general reaction time and things that make you good across multiple games like that, but it's something I'm going to need to think about, because if I want to get good at those, all of them, and make great content for them all at the same time, I'm going to need to put a lot of time, effort, and energy into being as good at those games as I possibly can. So it's something I need to think about for sure. I do want to branch out a bit more and start covering some other games. I love Total War. It's always going to be the basis of my channel, but if I can cover other games and get views doing those games, why wouldn't I? I love them. I think it makes sense to do that for games that I'm passionate about and excited for, that I'm hyped for, that I want to create content for, and MK11 and Doom Eternal are certainly on that list. So, let me know what you thought of the trailer, who you plan to play when Mortal Kombat 11 finally drops, and which characters you'd like to see in the final roster. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Indie Pride, signing out for now. Have a good one, guys.